Survivors never quit. They stand till the end. Guess what? A winner can never be a quitter. And a quitter can never be a winner. This special lady, I don't know if she is as great as her name. She'll be coming to do a great job to introduce to you the guest speaker. So I invite you to put your hands together and make welcome Mistress Thompson Paul as she comes to introduce the guest speaker. Put your hands together for her, please.
All protocols observed. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to introduce the guest speaker. He is the founder and CEO of International Travel and Culture Exchange. He is the graduate of Caribbean Maritime Institute, now Caribbean Maritime University, with a master's in logistics. He was the recipient of the Portmore National Heroes Day Award for Business and Civics Leadership in 2015. He was also the winner of the National Logistic Essay Competition in 2014, and also a nominee for the Prime Minister's Youth Award in 2014. He believes in making circumstances that he wants, if they are not already available to him, in order to achieve his goals. He is Mr. Poy Robinson.
Afternoon, everyone. Sorry for how I'm sounding. I'm a little bit under the weather. And it's just to say it's my pleasure being here. Whenever I get the opportunity to speak to young persons such as yourself when leaving high school, it's always a pleasure to do so. As you heard in the introduction, my name is Poy Robinson. I am telling my age. I'm 31 years old. And when I heard Miss Robinson, I must say, a lovely young lady, a lovely lady, I don't know if she's young, but a lovely lady. And she expressed a desire in me speaking at this graduation today. And when I heard the theme, I was pleased. Do you guys know what the theme of your graduation is? What's the theme? No, man, speak up like you're sure, man. Come on, what's the theme? Hold on. Empowering? You realize how powerful that theme is? That's what we need in this society. You know? Persons like yourself who are willing to make that change. So, instead of coming here today with this big speech, well written, everything, when I heard the theme, I said, you know what? Rather than writing the usual speech, let me just go ahead and share my life story with you guys and to see what you guys can take away from it in order to empower yourself and to make that change that you just spoke of. Following me? All right. And they didn't explain it in the introduction, but just to let you guys know, I'm completely blind. There you can see it, completely. I can't tell night different from day unless I feel the heat from the sun or stuff like that. If in terms of seeing the light, no, I wouldn't be able to do that. So, just to let you guys know, I was born with glaucoma. At about 5 months old, my doctor, Donovan Calder, in Kingston, found out that I had glaucoma. He told my parents, but typical Jamaican parents, they believed that nothing was wrong with their child, so they brought me to someone else, another doctor. Or just to know, am I looking directly at you guys? Where are you guys located? Make some noise for me, hearing enough students. Alright, good. So, the other doctor told my parents that nothing was wrong with me. And he never had me on any drops, anything, just living normal. A couple of months after, my parents realized that something really is wrong with my eyes. And they brought me back to Donovan Calder. At that time, he said that significant damage had been done to the eyes, and there was little he could do. So this had my parents distraught. Anyways, Donovan Calder said that he'll do a minor surgery where he removed both my eyeballs, drained the fluids from them. Yes, he removed both my eyeballs, drained the fluid from them, did some surgical procedures, put them back, and I was seeing to some extent. Seeing out of my left eye, okay. Seeing out of my right eye, fairly okay. So my parents then thought that everything was good. And while going to school, I used to attend Mennonite Basic School, then Dunrobin Primary. Have you guys ever heard of Dunrobin Primary? Alright, good. That's off Red Hills Road. I used to attend Dunrobin Primary. And while attending Dunrobin Primary had 2 ledges, the upper ledge and the lower ledge. And it's a upstairs, downstairs school, basically. So one of my classmates had his bag on the upper ledge. And myself and some other students were down on the lower part of basically the parking lot. And it was raining that day, or it had rained that day. So one of the students who were on the upper ledge, foot caught his bag. And it fell to the ground, or was on its way falling to the ground. I turned around in time to see it, and was trying to reach out for it or move to try catch it. Well, them said, things is not how it appears to be, is not what it is. Yeah, man. So he turned around in time to see it, and it seems as if I was the one who had pulled it to the ground. So he started an argument, and I tried to explain. Nevertheless, he was adamant that, he must get revenge. I walked away, him walked me down, him said, boy, XIZ, if you do that, and my book them wet up and my bag wet up because it fell in a puddle of water, because I never caught it. So we got in a physical confrontation, and I got hit in the same eye that Donovan Calder had fixed a couple years before. At this point, my parents brought me back to Donovan Calder. You know what he said? He said, unfortunately, Mr. and Mrs. Robinson, there's nothing I can do, because the damage had been significant and there's nothing I can do. So eventually, I lost sight in my right eye, this one, completely. So I went through primary school, or majority of primary school, only having one eye. Following me so far? And I want to show you guys how you can empower yourself and be that change that you spoke of earlier. I left primary school, Dunrobin Primary, and I went to Port Henderson Primary because my parents had moved to Portmore from Kingston. And I left Port Henderson Primary and I'd passed my exams for Kingston College. But them time the KC, well, probably you guys wouldn't know. The parents inside here or the teachers here who are from Kingston or anywhere would probably know that time KC are KC. So for me, who was a bookworm, going to KC is not a good look. Because I would have gotten myself into a lot of problems. Being teased, being bullied, all of that. So my parents, as I told you, resided in Portmore, had moved to Helshaw, and they opted out and sent me to Ascot High School. Have you guys ever heard of Ascot High School? That's in Portmore, near Greater Port, basically in Greater Portmore. And when I went to Ascot High School, they said that I had to do an entry exam to get in. And the principal at the time told, who is now deceased, told my parents, listen, man, your child is blind. I can't accommodate him here now. Take him to a school for the blind. That's what the principal told my parents. Anyways, the vice principal at the time said that she had taken on to me and she told my parents, listen, I'm going to give him the test to do, regardless of what the principal says. And I was the only one who passed that entry test to attend Ascot at that time, because Ascot was basically a fairly new school. Understand? So even though she claimed that I was blind and I was to be taken to a school for the blind, I was the only one out of everyone else who did the test who passed that test to enter Ascot High School. Moving on from that, when I entered Ascot High School, I had a love for football. And when I was going to school, you know them call me 2.1. So we have the two lenses of the glasses with the one eye, so them call it 2.1. And them call me goggles and them call me 4 eyes, all sorts of things. I can tell you, I was teased being visually impaired while growing up. And I think it helped me to understand the society in which we live today. I fell in love, I had a love for football. And I wanted to play football. And when I went to training, the guys would be like, Coach, how am I doing, sir? Him not realize him to the wrong place. Coach, so what you talking about? Coach, how am I going to see if he kick the ball and him blind? And nevertheless, I was relentless and I tried my best to make that team. They would be like, Coach, him blind on the side and so when him have the ball on the foot, oh, him got somebody not can take it from him and him not know so him take it from him. Coach, I said, give him chance, man. And to be honest, it happened. There are a couple of times when I'm on the field and I kick and oh my. The ball gone. The ball game, they up the field, the man them gone with the ball and I realize. So you know what I did? Ladies and gentlemen, I love to play, I was playing central attacking midfield at the time. And I decided to listen, I need to change my strategy, because I need to prove to these people that what they claim that I am or what they believe that I am, I'm not that. And I can do whatever I want to do. So I wanted to empower myself. So you know what I did? I switched position. I said, Coach, I want to change. And I said, what are you talking about, boy? All right. Pump on the right side, more than near the touchline. So anything I must offer the field, may I come. So I switched to right link, because there's nobody else after right link. There's anybody else at the sub or the touchline. So I switched to right link, so I would be playing inward, right? The guys here who play football, following me? So when I switched to right link, I was playing inward as I told you. And I got the ball, I did what I was supposed to do. No one came on this side to take the ball from me. And I played so well, where to the point where I played Manning Cup, I played, not the Costa Cup, Manning Cup, Coles, Pepsi, all these things, and scored several goals in the process while doing so. So you guys can see now how I empowered myself and made that change, or I became that change that was required, right? Following me again. I loved track and field. See the story get complicated, I say left from football gun. So I got track straight, the man said, no man, the brother you're serious. From football to track and field, coach! What's up? Oh, I'm gonna see football at the baton, coach, and I'm blind. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen, I was nervous. And I train. I'm a couple of last well. I can't tell you the truth. I came last place several times before I made it to where I wanted to be. And I remember we used to do baton changes at school, coming up to Western Mile relays or Gibson relays or what it is. And I remember one year being at Gibson. And the crowd is at Gibson, And we're in the medley. And I am there thinking to myself, how am I going to do this now? I'm going to see my teammate to come. Because I ran 400 and 800 meters. And I wasn't running the 400 meter at the time, but I was running one of the 200 legs. And I said, how am I going to do this now? See my teammate come, I'm going to start sweat and fret and when I have my marker, I say, when I reach the marker, I remember for run, They will stand up and I remember for run. I'm going to look up on the crowd and I get nervous. I'm saying, oh, close your eyes, close. I'm going to say, no, open my eye, you can't close your eyes, the man will come. I'm going to say, close, I'm going to open my eye now and when the man reach the marker, I'm going to take off. And he say, reach. I'm going to come so and put on my man, he say, reach. And put up my man, put it on the man, say, Paul, reach. And put up my hand and take it. And when I took it, ladies and gentlemen, I ran. We never won. But I brought the baton across that line without it falling to the ground. And I did so well to the point where I have even made the national team. So, let me say this to you, students. Empower yourself just as the theme stated. Be that change that is required. Yes. Following me? Yes. So I left Ascot High School, and Ascot was not a traditional high school. And I left Ascot High School with several CXCs. Understand? Several CXCs. So I can tell any student there. I've lectured before. I have lectured this last semester at the Caribbean Maritime University, and I've always told my students, it has nothing to do with the institution that you attend. It's what you want from it. Understand? Let me repeat, students, it has nothing to do with the school that you attended. Whether it's Tarrant, whether it's Edith Dalton James, whether it's Godfrey Stewart High School, Bustamante, Kingston College, Georges, Campion, wherever. All the teachers were taught at basically the same institutions. They are all equipped to do the same thing that the teachers at Campion can do. A principal at Kingston College is no better than the principal here at Bustamante. They have the same level of education. Understand? So it's what you guys want out of it. So I've heard students say, oh, I leave school and the two me go and bad school. Madness. Ascot is not a when I went to Ascot High School, it was referred to as a comprehensive high school before the government got rid of that comprehensive thing. And I left Ascot High School with several CXC subjects. And I went to, by students, I went to Homewood High School for sixth form, lower six and upper six, where I did track and field. And I left from Homewood, and I got a track scholarship to the University of Georgia in the States, Georgia Bulldogs. And I can tell you these students, just as you heard the song stated that the students were singing before, Survivor, what did the song say? You guys remember? What it says? Never quits, no matter what trials come your way, right? Determination is the key to success. Empower yourself. When I went to University of Georgia, I got what was called a half scholarship. Because I wasn't running 45 seconds in 400 meter at the time. I was running mid 47 to low 47. And when I went to Georgia Bulldogs, I got what's called a half scholarship because of the time that I was running. So I got boarding, I got books, other amenities and stuff, but I had to pay my tuition, which was about 25,000 US. So when I should be working to pay the tuition, I had to be training to keep my time in order to keep my scholarship. And when I should be training to keep up my time, I had to be studying to keep my grades up, to keep my scholarship. And when I should be studying to keep my grades up, I had to be working to pay the tuition to keep my scholarship. You saw how difficult that was? So, I can tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing in life is easy. And if you haven't failed at anything, you have not tried anything new. If you have not failed in your entire life, something is wrong. That means you have not tried anything outside of the box, anything new. You have just stuck inside that box that you are in and you are in your comfort zone, so you just deal with that. That's not going to help you. Empower yourself. Step outside of your comfort zone. Challenge yourself. Reach for greatness. Anyone inside here know Gloria Stefan? I believe, if I could reach? Yeah. Do you understand the words of that song? Have you guys ever listened to that song? Yeah. That's a very, very powerful song. You need to believe in yourself. Because it's the belief that I had in myself where I can be standing in front of you today, talking to you. And while being at University of Georgia, as I told you, it was difficult. I was invited to a party one day by some friends who my cousins used to grow with here in Jamaica before they migrated. And while being at the party, the cops came and they arrested everyone there. You know why? When I questioned it, I was told that there was contraband in the house. In other words, drugs were in the house. Was in the house. And when I did my questioning or what it is, I found out that over 200 pounds of marijuana was in the house that the party was being kept in. And when I explained to them how I got to the party, nevertheless I was arrested and I was jailed. I had to send to Jamaica for newspaper articles, police records, recommendations from principals, the J3s, everyone, to prove to the US government, the district attorney, the DA, that I had absolutely nothing to do with it. When they checked my passport, spoke to my school, and realized that I was on a scholarship and where I was and that I just came to the party, the DA called me one day. Well, my attorney, who the government had awarded me, called me and said to me, the DA wants to meet with you, but you can't tell anyone. And I went with her one day to a cafe and I met with the DA and she said, Mr. Robinson, I should not be doing this. I can lose my job. Under no circumstances at all the prosecution meets with the defendant unless you're doing a plea bargain. But there's something about you that is bothering me. You do not seem like the average drug dealer. You do not operate like the average drug dealer. I looked at you, I watched you, I observed you while you were in the courtroom, along with all the other guys that were arrested. And there's something about you that showed me, or gave me the impression that you had nothing to do with this. So here's what I'm going to do for you today. I have the power to do this. I'm going to drop all charges against you. And I'm going to give you a letter to take back to your institution and to show the US government, if you are traveling back and forth from Jamaica to the US, that regardless of the fact that they're seeing that you were arrested, all charges were dropped and you're free to travel back and forth and continue your life as usual. She said to me, here's the thing, I can promise you that if I ever see you in my courtroom again, I will not be so kind. Ladies and gentlemen, students, do you think I would be mad to give her a second chance to see me again? No. Exactly. I wanted to empower myself and ensure that I continued to make that change for a brighter tomorrow. So, after that, and I can show you all the things that I've been through, and they contributed to me being here today. Remember, teased in high school, doubted, believe I couldn't play the football game, couldn't pass the baton, none of these things. Got the scholarship, so difficult, all these trials. Got arrested, and you know what happened shortly after I got arrested? My mother died. My mother died from cancer. A very rare cancer that only takes 4 persons out of the world every 4 years based on the study and the statistics that they've gathered. It's called cholangiocarcinoma. And I can tell you this, all the gentlemen inside here know that males are very, very close. Most times they are close to their mother. And everything they do in life, regardless of the fact that daddy might be there, you respect daddy, you do it to make mommy proud. And I was on that path. And I said to myself, it don't make no sense again. Because the person that I was doing everything for is no longer here. So what is sense? The person I was ensuring that I got an education, ensuring that I did well, so that I can make her proud and make her comfortable. Because my parents never had it easy, My father is he's no longer a taxi man. But my mother used to sell baskets at Mother's Day time or what it is to make ends meet. Try a little thing here and there so to make ends meet. So I wanted to be that change, empower myself and be that change to ensure that she was comfortable for the rest of her life. I never got the chance to do that. But I'll get the chance in the future to tell her that I did. And I can tell you, it became extremely difficult being in the US. And I opted out of my scholarship and I came back home. And when I came back to Jamaica, I applied for universities here and I took student loan. And I got through to NCU, UTech, UA, Maritime. And I said, what did these institutions have to offer? I didn't want to go to school and do something that everyone is doing. I wanted to be different. And when I heard about the shipping and logistics and everything at Maritime, I accepted that one. And I started Maritime. But I can tell you this, when I came back, before starting Maritime, I went to Boys and Girls Champs 1 year with my now ex-girlfriend. And while being at Champs, after Champs, I'm not sure if anyone inside here has ever been, but after Champs, most persons, the crowd normally walks the halfway tree. And we decided to join the crowd and walk. And when I joined the crowd to walk, my girlfriend and I at the time, we were on the left-hand side, and I saw a guy, I was seeing at that time, still seeing out at this side. And I saw a guy run, like just basically jog past, and another guy talked to him and said, yo, allow me alone, man, allow me alone, man. So I thought they were two friends playing. And I said to my girlfriend at the time, let's switch this side. For some reason, I don't feel comfortable. Let's go on the other side. Come like that was the mistake I made. I went on the other side. And after walking for a little bit, ladies and gentlemen and graduates, I felt a hand come around my neck. And when I grabbed onto it, I grabbed onto the blade of a knife. And the person was trying to cut my throat. And I held on to the blade, and I draw it, and I held on to it, and I opened up my hand in and start bleeding. And I spun around same time, and I started to fight him. And I started to overpower him. And his friends saw that I was beating him. And they all rushed down on me and pushed me to the ground. And I can tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, to today's date, this, not the only reason, but this is one of the reasons why I am serving Jehovah today. When I was pushed to the ground, all 6 guys took out their knives and they all started stabbing at me. And I can't tell you how, the only thing I can say is Jehovah. I was moving precisely, accurately, on that ground in order not to obtain any stab. I don't know how. One of them, when the guy who I was fighting realized that I wasn't getting any stab, he held on to me. And he held on to my tummy. And I was trying to move, and he held on to me, and he started to pierce my belly with his knife. And my girlfriend at the time grabbed onto his foot and said, please don't kill him, anything you don't want, take. And they took my chain from around my neck, took her phone, took her purse from out my pocket, and they ran off. At the time, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you, I'm a changed person today. I've looked in myself and realized that I needed to empower myself. And that night I called a couple of my friends, because my cousins at the time were persons who used to do things. And they were close in that area, close to that area, the Mountain View area. So I called them. I'm going to say, no, what, just go on. I'm going to tell them. I'm going to get something. I'm going to take off my girlfriend brassiere at the time and wrap up my hand. Because it bleed. And I called them, and I'm not proud of what I did, but I can tell you this today. When they came, they all came strapped. And I decided that I have to find those men tonight. And I sent home my girl. And I went on the road with them. And in the middle of half a tree, I spotted one of them. And I too was strapped. And I can tell you these students, when I made after him and he realized that I was coming at him, he ran across the light. And that was one of the nights when police were saying no parties because too much violence after champs. Everybody must go home. And as he dashed across the light turned red, turned green, so the cars were passing by, so I had to stop. And by the time the cars passed, he was nowhere in sight, so he got away. I can look back at that now. It's not something that I'm proud of, but I can look back at that now and I can say that I am happy that I never caught him. Because one, I would have ruined my relationship, which at that time I never had one. But coming to an accurate knowledge of him, I would have jeopardized my relationship with Jehovah. And I would have gotten myself into a lot of problems, imprisonment, all of that. So, I can tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Empower yourself. Repeat after me. Empower yourself. Well, you should say myself. Empower myself. To become that change for a brighter tomorrow. I need you to believe in these students. After that night, as I told you, I went to Maritime. And one day, I went to drop off something to my cousins on behalf of my aunt in Mountain View. And a couple of my cousins were killed, a couple were imprisoned, and I was to drop off something to the others. And when I got there, they were taking long to come. And you guys might find this alarming, but I can tell people this. I've been through so many things in this life that nothing phases me. I am just on a straight path. It's like a horse with blinds, with a hurdle, no pun intended. But I can tell you this, students, I am only looking in one direction right now, and that's success, and that's prosperity, and that's a relationship with Jehovah to ensure that I continue to empower myself and be that change. When I went to Mountain View, a van drove up, and a guy came out and stuck a gun in my side. If I hear the saying, say, if you can't catch Quaker, you catch him shot. There's nothing in this life that I'm afraid of, because I've been through it. And they pulled me into the van, and basically I was kidnapped. And I can tell you this, students, I had 5 different guns at my head. One right here, one here, one here, one here, one here. Because people knew me, because I used to do track and field, I used to represent Jamaica, all of this. Persons knew of my affiliation and knew that I was related to my cousins. And you can't catch Quaker, where you do? Alright, and I was that shot. So it seems as some gun deals had gone wrong between some men and my cousins, and I got caught up in it. And the men, they were saying basically, we can't get with strap, or kill you feet. And I can tell you this, the only reason why I'm here today is because, as I go again, Jehovah. I remember I explained to the gentleman that I had nothing to do with this, and I don't know what they were talking about. Them say, yeah, we know. But at the end of the day, it's so be it. And I can tell you this, some of the men were men that I knew. And when they were about to kill me, the Don for that year that they had brought me to, I'm not going to call any name or anyone, his nephew said to them, no man, I said to him, uncle, who can have nothing to do with this, you know? I'm going to feel comfortable at this, you know. So you better we just make them pay about the money or something, you know. I'm going to feel comfortable at this. And he came back to me and told me what was the situation was. And they gave me a phone call, and I called my father and my grandmother, and they said they needed $300,000 by 6 p.m. that afternoon, else I would be dead. And when the Don and his nephew went around the front of the yard, the men decided that they weren't going to allow me to pay, or my people to pay any ransom. They're going to kill me. And as they were about to do that, the Don's nephew came back around and saw that, and actually stood in front of me and said, listen, before you can kill him, you don't have to kill me. I don't know if you kill me. A problem that. That's one of the reasons I am here in front of you today. My neighbor at the time, father was the head of Central Police Station. And my neighbor heard and told his father. And when they meet my father and my grandmother at 3 Mile, Texaco gas station, and told my father and my grandmother, said, listen, when the man them come to pick up the money, make we see them, make we know who we're going to depend on plain clothes or in a plain clothes XYZ, just make we know so we can trail them, go get him and get them money. When my father called the Don and said to him, listen, we have the money, but you have to pick it up X and X place. The Don said, listen, I'm going to send somebody feed. But you see the very hint that I get or we get that there's any police or anybody a follow it, your son is dead. So my father hearing that now, you think he was going to do what the police told him to do? No. My father slipped away across the road, met the men, and gave them the money. I never knew. It's when I got out, I realized, I was informed that policemen and police officers, other police officers were there waiting. And they brought back the money to the Don. And they released me. And he turned to me and said, Buka, I know you from your youth I grew up, you know. You might not know me fully, you know, but I know you, man. No hard feelings, business are business, you know. Just sleep on the same side where you sleep on tonight, where you sleep on last night. And they brought me out. And when they brought me out and I was on the toll back to Portmore, all sorts of blue lights start flashing. And police pull us over me and say, what is this? And they brought me to Central Police Station and questioned me. And asked me about the men. And I wanted to leave it there, so I told him nothing. And I can tell you, today's date standing right here, I don't know how, but you see, when you do not empower yourself, students, and you do not become that change, if you continue on the path, if you're from a garrison area, and you continue on that garrison path, it's going to end up one way. I can tell you this, it's going to end up one way. Every single male that was involved, except the Don's nephew, even the Don himself, was killed. And I had nothing to do with it. Police killed all of them. And up to today's date, the Don nephew is still living. And I have always pondered it. Why? So I can tell you this. You see what happened to them? They were adamant, they were determined that they had to kill me. And look what happened to them in the long run. I can tell you this, students. I went to Maritime and I held up my head and I said I had to complete my education. All these things that were happening, something is wrong. Satan have a plan for basically draw me out and get me to be involved in his way of doing things, and I don't want that. I wasn't grown that way, I don't want that. And while being at Maritime, in the 3rd year, I lost my sight. As I told you, I always had glaucoma. And I used to travel a lot. And when I came back from America, it was the 12th of January 2012. And when I went to school the following day, the 15th, on the 15th, I was walking into school, almost bounced in a way you call it an iron pole. And my neighbor, we used to go to the same school, we drove together, and he said to me, Buka, warm, because my middle name is Abuka. So he said, Buka, warm to you, you're not seeing. You see, I almost buck up in the pole. I said, I don't know what going on. I feel it feel weird, look kind of cloudy. I walk again, and Maritime has the cadets that dress in the brown uniform. And one of my brethren them were a cadet, I almost buck up in him again. And I must say, boy, you're not looking where you're going, young man. And I say, oh man, something alright. And I went to sit around the front of the school, and my friend at the time, Nashville, said, alright, he might get some breakfast. Him soon come. Marks my want, I'm going to sit down there. And I can tell you these students, I was looking out and my eye just started getting whiter and whiter, my vision got cloudy. You guys live in Clarendon here, so you must have some idea when you park your car and you come out like 5:15, 5:10 in the morning, that cloudiness that the windscreen has. Anyone has ever experienced that? That's how it got. And he came back around and I was crying. I said, Nashville, I can't see nothing, brother. I don't know what going on. Oh, the place white sun. I said, where you thought about the place clear, sunny? And I started crying and they brought me back to Donovan Calder that day and he said, boy, this is it. There's nothing I can do. And at the time I was glimpsing colors and it slowly but surely faded little by little. And I was in the 3rd year at Maritime at that time. And when I saw that I lost my sight, I said to myself, no man, that makes sense. I lose my mother, I get kidnapped, man try rob me, I come off from my scholarship, I get locked up. No man, what is? I said, no, it don't make no sense. Right now I'm going to be a bother to people. I'm going to become a pest. Just picture you being able to do everything for yourself. And you get up one morning and you can't see anymore. So if you want to move, you have to ask someone to move you. If you want to cook, you have to ask someone to cook something for you. You're now dependent upon someone. And I said to myself, you know what? This doesn't make no sense. And I was home one night and a thought came in my head. Why not just kill yourself? Because you're going to be a burden to everyone. You're going to be a pest. You're going to be annoying. This was probably after 12 in the night. I try to get the thought out of me and a million thoughts rushing through my head at the same time. And I started saying, please call me. At that time I was living by myself. As I told you, my mother had died, my father had moved on with another woman. I was living by myself in my parents' house. And I started saying, please call me. And after a while, the thought come back and see, nobody not care. So nobody not answer you. So why not just kill yourself and done? And I started crying and I said, no, I don't want to do this. I don't. Get out of my, get out. And it overpowered me and I went into the bathroom and I took up the pyro bottle. And I said to myself, I'm going to poison myself. And I went around the back of the house, around the backyard. And when I was going around the backyard, my phone rang. And my neighbor, well, when I'm bridging him around the road, by the name of Dale, said, Book, so I go on, Mr. Say, send me a please call me, alright? And I was crying, and I said, I can't do this no more. I have to end it right here. I can't do it, I'm going to be a burden. I don't know what it is to live without my sight. I can't do this anymore. And I said, just tell everybody I love them, this is it. And I said, no man, Buka, we're there for you, man. Don't worry about it, we're going to help you get through this. I never knew that while he was talking to me, he was on his way running around to my house. And when I hung up and I said, before I hung up, I said, love you, brother, just take care of yourself, you know. And I hung up the phone. And by the time I stepped outside and I was to put the pyro bottle to my mouth and started spraying, he was the one around the back of my yard kicking it from my hand. And he hugged me and he started crying and said, when you kill yourself, what do you expect us to do? And he said, we're going to help you get through this. You can get through this. You will get through this and you will have a bright future. You're going to do this for we, and you're going to do this for your mother, and you're going to do this for everybody who doubt you. And I can tell you this, students, obviously, I did because I'm standing in front of you today. You can empower yourself. You can become that change for that brighter tomorrow. And I started international travel and cultural exchange while I was blind. I started international travel and cultural exchange while I was blind. When I was sitting in class, I was processing students. International Travel and Cultural Exchange is a J1 organization. We send persons overseas to work in the US, mainly university students. So you guys leaving here now, for those who are going to go off to UTech, or those who are going to go off to sixth form and go to UE or Maritime, I operate the agency that you guys will go on the summer work and travel program to the US each summer. I operate one of those agencies. And I can tell you, while I was finishing up university, because it was challenging, I was absent from school for several months, but Miss Dr. Pinnock, who is like a second father to me, Professor Pinnock, principal for Maritime, said, boy, we're going to ensure that you finish. And they got what is called a reader-writer. So someone would read the questions to me, and I would tell them the answer, and they would write it on the paper. And that's how I would do my exams. And how I studied is my classmates would read the notes to me, so I had no choice but to remember it. And that's how I studied, and that's how I passed and completed my degree. And I was awarded a scholarship to do my master's that I've already completed. And I can tell you this, students. In life, empowering is not just about success. It's not just about wealth or having a good job in a big office or driving a nice vehicle or in a big house. It's about how you treat people and how you interact with people. So if you guys here leave today and in the future you're in your Benz or your BM or your Audi or your Rolls Royce or your Bentley, you live in a big house, or you are extremely successful, or a big artist or whatever it is, and you pass someone on the road who we classify as a madman or something, or someone who has fallen, and you can't stop and get out of your Benz and help that person, you've not empowered yourself. And if you see someone needing help and you cannot render that assistance to them, even though in your opinion they might not be on the same level that you're on, you've not empowered yourself. Empowering yourself goes a far way how you treat persons, how you love, how you respect, how you appreciate what persons have done for you. And not only that, if you make it and you do not remember those who helped you along the way, your parents, your siblings, your teachers, your colleagues, your best friend who stood beside you when things were hard, and you do not remember the big man himself, Jehovah, you have not empowered yourself. Because you can empower yourself, students. The very moment that you have any doubt that you can do that, you've already failed. So remove any doubt from your mind. Stop it from entering your mind. Because I, Boy Robinson, standing in front of you today, not only owns International Travel and Cultural Exchange, I own a trucking company that brings the material to Clarendon to build your highway. I own a funeral home. I do not, let me just make this clear, I do not cut or embalm anyone. I have employees that does that. But I am the owner of that business. I own a recording label where music on the radio, having a certain standard that the entire family can listen to, it's my record label that has produced that. Emoji Music Genesis. And remember this, students, a couple years ago, everything was going wrong. And I had to empower myself. I get bored very easily. So as soon as I set up a business and I have mastered it, I get bored. Being blind, you have to do a lot of things to keep your mind active. So I am in the process of opening up a distribution company to offer other persons work across the eastern side of the country. Why am I capable of doing this? Because I've empowered myself. I became that change for that brighter tomorrow. So students, here's what I want you to do for me before I end. I am blind, and it's obvious. You believe that, right? Yeah. If I can achieve all these things, what says you? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to repeat this after me. If you can do it, I can do better. No man, you're not hungry? Come on, man, come on. If you can do it, I can do better. I can do better. No, I need it to be said confidently. If you can do it, I can do it better. Louder. If you can do it, I can do it better. Louder. If you can do it, I can do it better. One more time, loudest. If you can do it, I can do it better. I need you to believe in yourself, empower yourself, be that change for that brighter tomorrow. All the violence and everything that's happening around you, pay no mind to it. Just be like a horse with a bridle or a blinds, just look in one direction of empowerment and being that change. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Could you put your hands together for Mr. Robinson one more time? You can be the change. You can be what you want to be. I want you to be determined. Strive to be the best. Strive to ensure that you win at all costs. So, be pleased with your achievement and ensure that you aim high for success. I want to ask you one more time. For such a motivational speech, I want you to put your hands together and give a round of applause to Mr. Robinson. If you have not been motivated, it means that you are physically dead. So, all right. I don't want to trouble them. Mr. Robinson, thank you, sir. I went to Knox Community College 2016 with $1,000 given to me by a friend, Bishop Vernon Morris. While I was going to school, Mr. Technician, have you find it for me? You find it? All right. While I was going to school one morning, I got up feeling discouraged that I should not even bother. Don't go no further. Stop right here. While lingering in the house, this was what happened. I took up my phone and was going through the phone, playing some songs. This was a song that caused me to go to school, finish my semester, and I'm now at my third year. Play the song. Let it talk for me. We're in a good mood. So I'm gonna ask Mr. Ragu and Mr. Wiles and Miss Budden and Miss Oliver to come they'll be doing the presentation. And so as the song continues to play, they'll be doing the presentation. So the technician will be playing the song, and these persons will be coming to do the presentation. So you can play it very soft and allow them to do the presentation.